So good morning, second grade new families. We're super excited and very happy you could join us this morning to learn a little bit more about our second grade program. And as all things are this year, they're very different. Normally this would be on campus and we would have you in and show you around and you'd have a chance to be here. And so we do the best we can with Zoom, and we have Jen Thompson who will be going through her presentation in a few minutes. But I just wanted to welcome you to Academy. And if you have, there's a long time between now and August. And so when questions come up, even in the summer, please feel free to reach out to one of us and we can call you or have a Zoom call or email exchange, whatever works for you. And our commitment this year has really been, I want just an example of our commitment and our priorities I wanted to share is, when we were a year ago at this time in May, when the governor had said, the schools were going to be closed for the remainder of the school year, we of course started looking at what could we do for the following year, this school year, to see if we could have students back on campus. And we spent the summer and the springtime looking at 7 different scenarios, from we can all be on campus with no restrictions, best case scenario, to everybody online, the most restrictive. And so we decided, though, that where Academy excels is certainly with kids on campus and the interactions that they have with their teachers and their peers and others in the building. And so we did everything we could, and we went from 28 homeroom classes to 45, and we made the gym into 6 classrooms. We made a wrestling room into 4 classrooms, where actually second grade have 4 of their 6 sections this year. We used all sorts of creative spaces, and while not ideal, certainly the best thing we could have done, because it's been a wonderful year where we've had kids on campus from day one, and we've really seen their growth and their mental health as well. Because of all the different restrictions in other parts of their life, they knew that they could come to school and have an experience with their friends and their teachers. So we don't read the crystal balls, but we are planning on returning to our full a normal classroom setting next year. And while we may still be wearing masks if that's the requirement, we know how important it is, and we will be on campus and hopefully getting back to a normal type year. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brelly Fahrenkopf. Brelly is the associate head of lower school, as well as the director of the early childhood program. And at Academy, early childhood is the Explorers, pre-K, and kindergarten. So good morning, Brelly.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. We're glad you could join us today. We're excited to start this adventure with you here in the lower school. And we're excited that your children will be joining us next school year. As Mark said, it's been a different kind of year, but it's been a great one. We've been very fortunate to be on campus. If you have any questions while we're going through the presentation this morning, feel free to pop them into the chat, or, it's a small group. So I think Jen would probably be just fine if you stop her and say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about that? So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jen, and we'll get started.
All right. Let's see if I can get that. All right. Can you see this? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, looks good.
Perfect.
All right. Good. So I have a slideshow. I think you'll be getting a copy of this. If you'd like to refer back to it later, you might want to look at it more closely with the curriculum. I'm just going to briefly go through some of our areas of study this year and introduce you to some of the teachers that your child will be working with. There are 4 of us in the second grade. We actually have been together probably 4 or 5 years right now. One of the teachers was actually an associate in second grade, so she's been with our team for quite a while. Many of us have children that attend Academy, which I think is nice. It gives us some perspective, where the kids are beginning and where they will end up in their growth and development. I have 2 college children and a high school, child in the upper school. And we started in pre-K, as is the case for 2 of the other teachers. So we have very good connections to the school and ties to the school. So if you ever need any advice along the way, we're always happy to help. Underneath you can look later if you're interested, underneath our pictures are our bio links for more information. In the Lower School at Academy, CARES is really the foundation I would probably call for our school, beginning with the 3-year-olds up through the 5th grade. CARES, the children are familiar with it. It's part of their language. As you can see, cooperation, assertion, responsibility, empathy, and self-control are taught at a very young age. The children, the whole classrooms are kind of go around this whole feeling. A responsive classroom also goes along with this. I will move on to responsive classroom. And we start the first 6 weeks of school using this program. It's very common in a lot of schools around the country right now. It's a program that really builds community. And I think the first 6 weeks of school, we especially focus on community and getting to know each other. New students coming in, your child will be an important part of this. And we start out pretty slowly with the academics and take the time to get to know each other, routines, class expectations, really making the classroom a safe place to learn and ask questions. And this is continued through the whole lower school and is a good foundation as the kids move into the middle school and the way they treat each other. Underneath are the rest of our units that we study throughout the year. I'm just going to go to the next slide because I can tell you more in depth about these. Again, we start with the classroom community, the responsive classroom. We have community days in the fall and in the spring, culminating days with all the classes. We couldn't do that this year. We're hoping to do that next year, where we come together as a grade level and play games and share. Outdoor weeks in our grade, we have one in the fall and one of the spring. But I will say the children in 2nd grade, well, in all of our grades, spend a lot of time in the outdoors. As I'm sure you've seen, we're blessed to have beautiful woods and surroundings. And so we go hiking and do curriculum things, outdoor activities all the time in the woods. But there are 2 weeks in the year that we spend the majority of the day outside, and the curriculum revolves in the outdoors. Let's see, yes, okay. One of our first large units is our cultural study and immigration. This unit is very much around, we explore why people came to our country, why they came here. There's many different reasons. And we explore all of them. Within this unit, we also focus on your family and what pulled them to our country. And we have in the middle of the unit, we have a big project that the kids will do at home about family. And they have many different ways. We used to just do a family tree. And now we've moved to, an expanded project, and the kids can make boxes full of special things. They can do posters. They've made books. They communicate with your family and grandparents, aunts, and uncles to gather information about what's important to your family. And they love this unit. And we've moved this to the fall because it really helps the children get to know each other. So we've enjoyed that. Patricia Polacco is an author. I don't know if you're familiar with her. Many of her books are about her family and her culture and how her family came to the country. And so that's actually beautiful picture books. And that's a nice tie to this unit. Some of the vocabulary we use during this unit are refugees, enslaved people, immigrants, a lot of the language, and a lot of the reasons why people do end up here. Our next unit of study, biographies and states. We study current and historical people that live in America, and we focus on their accomplishments. And we have a variety of literature, from easy reads to more challenging. And we read a lot of stories to the children, so they can gather information, above their reading level, but they can learn so many new things. So they do some of their own reading and we read a lot to them. And then following that, we have a unit on the states. And we do not memorize the states. That's really not the goal. It's really they get a general introduction to the different parts of the country. And then they get to choose a state that they're very interested in. And then they do a more in-depth study. So, this year I only have 11 children. So we did a general study of the states, and then 11 kids picked different parts of the country to research states. And that's interesting because you can compare what different parts of the country offer as far as natural resources, food, etc., economy. And they actually get to build a state float. And so they research a person from the state, natural resources, economics, all different sports, whatever they want, and they build a big float. And then we share that with the class, with the parents, and hopefully next year with our larger community. Then we move on to Native Americans. We also, coming off of the states unit, where the children have learned the different parts of the country, the different regions, we select, there's so many different Native American groups, obviously, that have that are here, and we pick different regions. So, and classes will choose different regions, and often we'll have a big share where everyone shares off what they have learned. For example, this year my class did the Southwest, and we chose the Hopi, and we focused on what their homes were made of, and the food, the corn, the hot desert. That was the first group that we learned. And then we moved on to the Northwest, which is a very different part of the country, on the ocean, catching fish, just totally different resources that they're using. So their home is different, their food is different traditions. We'll probably hit 3 different parts of the country, maybe get in 4. Within this unit of study, the kids get to do lots of art projects as well. We're making totem poles right now. At the end, we'll do dioramas, and we will share between the classrooms what we have learned as well. So it's a very, very fun unit. Let's see, our service, let me make sure I didn't skip. Okay. Throughout the year, Academy always focuses on service, pre-K all the way up through the upper school, and we often share out the things that we do. We adjust the 2nd grade service regularly, things we've done in the past, painting inspirational rocks, and then we go out and set them all around the school or in the woods for people to find. The kids love doing that. We've made many bags and donated them for Faith Mission. We do Kids for Kids service projects where we make, each class chooses a project and donates somewhere in the community. It's very flexible. It often depends on the kids' interests, quite honestly. And sometimes groups will reach out to our school and ask for help. But this year, an example, my mother went into a nursing home. And so my kids actually connected with that nursing home, and we've had a letter writing project, and they make decorations for the doors, and my mom goes around and helps hang everything up. So, a lot of these can be connected to something that the children, are interested in. That kind of came from me, but they've had a good time and it's been meaningful. We've pulled her up on Zoom and they've met her. So any connection that, your family has or we have, can make these projects even better. So feel free to share anything that you have going on in your family, and we'd love to make that connection. Curriculum wise, this is our language arts. We have a reading, we use Fontanes and Pinnell as our base for our reading program. And as you can see, we read in a variety of ways. Children listen to lots of interactive read alouds that we share, that we use as a teaching point for the kids. And after reading those, we have mini lessons, and then the kids go and apply what they've learned to their reading. And at that point, it's reading on their level. So we have a wide range of readers, which is perfectly fine. And they go back and read in their level we have taught them. We also have book clubs. And we do lots of guided reading. So we're trying to get them in every direction that we can. We also have some online reading programs that we use for independent reading, which the kids enjoy. Our writing program, we use the 6 traits writing, where same idea, we take mini lessons and build upon them. I will say probably 3 or 4 times a year, they pull together a writing piece that we actually publish. They go through and edit, and we publish and type up, for them, and they get to make books. So they always share writing with the class. It doesn't have to be published. We share in a variety of ways throughout the day. And then our word study program, we love. This is very individualized. The kids are given in the beginning of the year a list of words, and we build upon that, assess it, and put them in appropriate groups for spelling. So your child will have an individual list. They might have the same list as 2 or 3 other children, and they might have their own. So we go through the developmental stages and start them back at where they need to be in the very beginning and move them on. If your child's a great speller, they will be starting at a different place and moving on from there. We've had children get into Latin derivatives before, at the end of 2nd grade. And many just age appropriately move through this program. So we really enjoy the personal touch to this for their learning. It helps them with their reading as well. Handwriting, we use Danielian. That's the handwriting that has the tails at the end. This helps them when they move into cursive. So if your child has not come from a Danielian program, it doesn't matter at all. We spend the year learning the slant and just going through letter by letter. And by the end, they've got a nice slant and tails, and they're ready to go and learn their cursive. Math, we use Envision Math throughout our lower school. I love it. The program is very much based on problem solving and ways of thinking about math, which is, our big goal. Within that, we do pre-tests before each concept so that we know if we have some children that already know most of the concepts, we can then enrich them. We don't move them on necessarily, but we enrich them and broaden their problem solving within this concept. And the format of it, they usually watch a little introductory video, and then we do a mini lesson with them, and then they have a practice some problems with us in school, and then you will get a little review paper home in the evening to do with your child so that you can see what we did during the day. Not meant to be challenging. It's really just meant so that you can see what they're learning in school, and a little responsibility for them, taking things back and forth. And problem solving, we use Marcy Cook math tiles. Math facts are also something that we play games with, encourage the kids to really be comfortable with their addition and subtraction in 2nd grade as concepts build. And then we have an online program, ST Math, on the children's iPads. This is also a self-paced program, which is nice. It assesses the kids and they move through problem solving concepts. Geography, we have a little, probably I would call it more of a little workbook that moves through location, place, environment, movement, and regions, teaching them just basic map skills. I'll say within this, as we finish each unit, we have a hands-on projects that we do with the children following. That's fun, and it just culminates what we've just learned. For example, we made dough maps following our land and water feature maps. So they went through a couple of pages and taught them all about rivers, hills, mountains, plateaus. And at the end of that unit, we asked parents to make Play-Doh, and they sent it in, and the kids all made their own map showing what they learned. So we try to end each unit with something fun. And homework expectations. Every night your children for the week, they have a homework log, and every night they fill in what they need to do in the evening at school. And then it's very clear when they come home for you what needs to be accomplished. It's typically a math paper and a spelling paper. So it's not very complicated. The math is a review from what we did during the day. And then our spelling program has hands-on activities and active activities that you do to practice the words during the week. So within that, we love if the children will read a little bit in the evening, just to set up that love of reading nightly routine. And then we encourage math fact practice. We do a lot of this in school with introduction, but we find children, it's helpful if a little bit of review happens in the evening when you have time. And then we actually have a buddies at Academy where each grade level pairs up with another grade level and they do activities. We have not been able to do that this year. We're very excited. We're hoping next year we will be able to. Second graders pair up with the fifth graders, which is the top of our lower school. And during those times, we just have fun. Sometimes we just go out and play. Other times we read together, share activities. One of the classes are learning about projects we've completed. So it's a nice relationship. We pair up with one other class, and then within that class, your child will have a special person that they will meet with all year and will be their buddy. And at our school, it's nice being a pre-K through 12 because the connection, goes right up. And so, when kids graduate, they remember who their buddies were in the lower school. And it's just a really unique, special thing that you can really only get at a school, like we have with the pre-K through 12. We love birthdays. So each classroom does this a little bit differently, but we all bring a snack in. In my room, I have the parents share a favorite picture book, in another room, it might be a game, but we love to have you in and have you be part of our special birthday celebration. If you can't, you can send in the snack and then we can read the story that your family has chosen. So no pressure, but if you can make it in, we love it. And we often do read-ins throughout the year where the kids can bring in pillows and just make forts in the classroom, read outside. Just that love of reading, which we really try, to foster from the very beginning. We have libraries in our classrooms. We have a beautiful library in the lower school, which hopefully you got to see. And it just makes for a fun day. So this is here's another list of the teachers' names. These are our emails. If you would like to reach out to myself or any of us, we're happy to answer any questions that you have. And as well, I know Bradley and Mark would be fine to do that too. So that was a very quick and a lot of information. Do you have any questions? I'm happy to answer questions if you have anything you'd like to ask.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Thompson. And please, this is a great opportunity. Jen is the team leader in grade 2. So if you have any questions or Brelly or myself, please unmute or put it in the chat room now. That'd be great.
No? Well, we're excited to have your children. Let us know if you digest this and have anything that you'd like to ask us. We're happy.
Hi, this is Brad Mock. One thing I didn't see covered is foreign language. So personally, I don't know how to speak for the others, but our son hasn't come from a foreign language background. So I imagine there either a little bit of catch up potentially there, or how is that handled, the transition?
We have Spanish, as you probably saw when you visited, and we're used to kids coming in and out of the program. They do a really good job I wouldn't worry about the catch up part. It's all fun through activities, and Katie does a really good job with the kids, and it's just lots of game playing. They have a little workbook. So, one thing I know would be coming home is, and you could actually ask for it if it's not sent away right away, is they often do a little page together where you could, maybe review what was introduced for the day, but most of it is just game and fun. And I have 2 new kids in my class this year, and they're doing fine with it. She was very conscientious about, helping them and making them part of the group. So I wouldn't feel like you need to do anything or prepare them in any way right now.
And actually, we have a sheet from the Spanish department, the lower school Spanish department, that parents will be receiving that has resources for
Oh,
Spanish that you can have fun with during the summer.
There was a
have
question about
things that
maker spaces, and we are actually doing, we're going to be enriching and enhancing the maker space in the lower school for next year. So we're excited about that, and lower school kids will all get a chance to use the maker space. Right now it's a computer lab, but it's going to be, we're going to be adding a lot of different maker space materials for next fall.
I see a question about homework at the CASE program. Students do have the opportunity to work on homework if they are at CASE. There's also something called Homework Club that is kind of an add-on to CASE. It's a couple of days a week, supervised by one of our lower school teachers. So yes, the children can work on homework at CASE.
And homework, just to kind of, I saw there was another one about homework, and we, in the lower school, we use a 10 minutes per night for homework, an average. So in second grade, about 20 minutes a night. You know, if they're working on a project or something, it may be a little bit longer. Some nights may be a little bit shorter, but that's kind of the, you know, if your child is in a spot in your apartment or your house where there's, you know, it's kind of uninterrupted and not a lot of distractions, then that 20 minutes of solid time would be about your average in
and
second grade.
we do not we don't do writing at home, and I mean, or big projects, honestly. It's really just a spelling paper and a math paper. You know, if the projects are done, the only project you do at home is the family project, and you'll be given 6 weeks. So yeah, don't let homework intimidate you at all.
Yeah, because I asked that question because I saw the CASE program from your brochure, so that's very useful. So
Yeah.
so I actually love homework, so I think that's important. So but I just wonder, because I saw the CASE program, I think with minimal help, which is written on the brochure, I just wonder if that's available for the second grade, and if the student needs to register to that, and I would love to put my son there. So that's why I asked. So.
Yeah, it's a great program, and a lot of second graders use it, and they can typically get their work done, you know, during that time. And the CASE program also offers, you know, enrichment activities and things after school that your child might be interested in signing up for in addition to that.
I always tell people CASE is there. It's called Children's After School Experience. Some children are regulars. We know they're going to be there every day due to maybe their parents' work schedule. You can have every intention of picking up your children, and then you find that you're stuck in traffic. CASE is a safe haven, anyone who's left over in carpool or anything. So my point being, you can use it every day. You can use it sporadically for an hour, a couple hours. It's a great program, and they do offer wonderful programs after school too, different options. So
Even musical instrument, like I think you can start strings in second grade, which is neat if you're interested. One of my sons did that, and then I didn't have to take him to the violin teacher. He just did it here. So it's very convenient.
it is, you rent the instrument, the lessons are free.
Mhm.
That's how strings works.
It's great.
In the lower school. And Marker Brelli, can you talk about, are sports offered starting in second, or is that more in third?
Yeah, most of the sports through PACA, and PACA is our parent association, and they're run through PACA. Right now, I was looking on the website because that's been a common question. Most of them start in fourth grade, actually. The sports that we coordinate, and by we, I say the parents association. So that may change. I know they've talked about, you know, bringing them down into lower levels, but right now, if you go on our website and you just type in Columbus Academy, PACA, PACA sports, you can kind of see the list. And I actually, I wanted to, the youth sports that we offer are, oh, where did that go? So we have 5th and 6th grade boys tackle football in the fall, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade boys basketball in the winter, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade girls basketball in the winter, 5th and 6th grade boys lacrosse in the spring, and 5th and 6th grade girls lacrosse in the spring. So those are the sports that the Parents Association offers. And those, the practices are here, the games are here, but we play teams from different communities. So I know, like in Bexley and in New Albany, and I think Westerville maybe, they have a group of teams that they play for that.
Mark, I'm not sure I gave you a proper introduction here today either. Mark is, as our head of lower school, comes to us with a lot of international experience and brought, obviously, his lovely wife and family with us. And Deborah's helped in admissions and a graduate and another son in college. And Ellen is a freshman now.
Yep, she's in
Yes,
9th grade.
will be a sophomore next year. So he brings a lot of experience from his career to us. And I didn't give you that proper introduction, I don't think, Mark.
Thank you, Debbie. You
And
don't have to do that.
Nancy wave, because Nancy too is a part of the admissions team and is really, for me, our computer guru. If you ever have any questions about completing anything or doing anything, Nancy is your person. So we have any more in the chat, Brelly? Are we good?
We have a raised hand.
Oh, okay.
Shrinking.
Please just unmute and ask us the question.
It's about how much screen time do the kids have at school?
We use our ST Math. The math program is on the iPad. And so the children use that probably 3 or 4 times a week for 20 minutes. Our reading, they really don't have a lot of screen time. I think this year with COVID, we probably used the reading programs a little more than we normally would have because we could not, have our one-on-one in our groups. Typically, I probably would say no more than 45 minutes a day. We try to get the math in a couple times a week. We really steer them more toward books. So not a lot of screen time, but we're fortunate. We do have the one-on-one iPad in the classroom. So when the kids do use them, they are in something appropriate that's on their level, which is good. It's for a purpose, not just playing, if that makes sense.
I think this year it's a little different because we're in a pod environment. So we have very small classes between 5 and 13 students and an average of 10. And all the co-curricular teachers come to the classroom except for swimming and PE. But at lunch, when the kids are eating in the classroom, we don't want them talking, of course, because they wear masks every other part of the day. So there is certainly more screen time and videos being shown this year because we just need to keep the kids quiet at lunchtime while they eat. And so it's interesting when you think about it this year compared to other years, because we also believe that the best learning is taking place from our experts, which are our teachers. And we use lots of resources, but we're also a school that wants to make sure that there's a balance between electronic use and what's going on in the classroom. So that's kind of a part of that. Debbie, there's an answer or a question about lots of things. I think this is all coming out in an electronic mailing soon about case registration, busing, uniforms, other logistics. And I think, when is that?
That's correct. We're just, in fact, today.
I can answer.
Oh, good, Nancy. Okay.
We actually do have a lot of that information that we published just yesterday on the, if you log into My School app and look under groups, it's a tab at the top. We've added some information there already. We are still waiting on some more materials like uniforms, but we do have some other resources there for you, so you can start taking a look, and we'll be adding more information over the course of the next week or so.
Can you explain the groups a little bit, Nancy? What should they be looking for?
Yeah, so when they log into My School app, they'll see a tab called Groups at the top, and we'll be sending an email about this week as well. And then, so you guys are all part of the new family groups. So when you go to the group tab, you'll drop down to new family, and then you'll see there general resources. And then we have split up the divisions: lower school, middle school, upper school. And you can find more specific information about your division in your section.
And it'll probably be more information than you care to get, but things that are important to read. Also, we're working on right now our host family program. And that is where we find a current parent volunteer who will make several touches with you, so to speak, from now until the beginning of school in fall. And by that, I mean, they may contact you by Zoom, maybe if it's safe to have a get together at a park or something, but they will be your resource to, feel you can call them, you can ask. Maybe you've read over the dress code or you have some questions. And so they are going to be your point person. And we really do try to get a family that has a child in a grade that your child is going into, or at least above or below, that can really talk to you about their experience in that grade. So that will be forthcoming too. That might be a couple weeks away, but we're working on that right now too.
And something else you're always welcome to do, we have 231 acres, and we certainly welcome if you want to walk any of the trails. I would recommend on weekends or as it gets warmer and the sun is out later, more in the evening time. They're used quite a bit, the playground equipment and the trails during the day. But feel free on a Saturday or Sunday to come up and wander around, and you can use the playground, and you can certainly use all the hiking trails. And it's kind of a good way for your daughter or your son to kind of see the campus in a different way and from a non-building way when they get here in August.
And Nancy's been good about sending the recordings, and she can also send the trail map so you know where you're going on it. So kids every week go to a different part of our campus. And even I didn't know how many trails they were till I saw the map myself. So,
Well, I don't see any more questions. I don't know if, but as we mentioned earlier, feel free anytime to reach out to one of us, or if you have questions about second grade to Jen. We're happy to answer any questions. And we're very excited about you joining us and your children coming to us in August, and look forward to hopefully a more normal year of in-school learning, and things are certainly headed in the right direction. So any other things that you'd like to say, Debbie? Or
I think we're good. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for choosing Academy for your child's education, and we will do you proud in following through. I'm retiring this year, but I know this school will go on for a very, very long time, and your child's entrusted to some of the best educators around. I'm almost jealous that my kids have already graduated and gone through. I often said when I was sitting at parents' night with my children, number one, I was so intimidated with all the things they were doing, but I knew they were in such good hands. So thank you so much. Don't sit at home and wonder about anything. There's lots of resources here, and we'll be happy to answer any questions for you. And hopefully, as things ease up a little bit with COVID, we'll be able to put some things back in with visits that we haven't had before. So we're kind of taking that day by day. I know in admissions, we're trying to work on a host family and who you're paired with, hoping that can happen in August. So just keep looking at the website and on my school app for any updates as well. Everybody good? We'll go on. At least we have a sunny, pretty day today. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.